I've been trying to be on the right path. Hey, you f***ing with me bad. Hey, like, you know where you at?
The WBRZ investigative unit uncovered a troubling history with Bailey, now tied to multiple crimes. Tonight, the WBRZ investigative unit uncovered Bailey has a conviction tied to a 2012 Derek Marino was. His wife and daughter ran out of the home, barely escaping the shots. Showed Bailey was arrested at the age of off Wyandotte in 2012. He pled guilty in 2019 to a manslaughter charge. Mangled metal and car fragments are all that's left after Darian Bailey refused to stop for police and slammed into a car on Winbourne Monday afternoon. A passenger inside the car Bailey was driving. Between his arrest for the in 2012 and now, he was also accused in an attempted from 2018.
I just came off of 10 years. I ain't hear me for that bullshit.
Right.
Now it's some more bullshit.
Okay.
Hey yo, squad, what's the drill? Back with another video, man. You ever heard of a man whose bail alone costs more than most rappers' net worth? A man who caught a homie charge as a teen, did nearly a decade, stepped back into the free world only to catch another attempted homie charge tied to an old street beef, and after bonding out on $300,000, led police on a high-speed chase that left his passenger deceased, turning himself into a walking headline with a $19.7 million bail. But he has his own side to the story. This is NBA DD Dawg, Darian Bailey, a name whispered in Baton Rouge streets with equal parts fear and respect. He's not a rapper clout chasing with disses or props and videos. He's the real muscle behind the scenes. The one who moved with NBA YoungBoy before the fame. The one who stayed loyal while doing time. The one who, even after tasting freedom, seemed drawn back into the chaos of that life that made him. And now, he's out again after posting that insane bond, sitting down with DJUTV not that long ago and standing on business. This isn't a rap fairy tale. This is the real life story of a man too deep in the streets to ever truly escape him. We finna break down bruh's full story and help you get the full picture. Is he a monster or a martyr? We gonna find out. So without further ado, let's skip the play and get down to business. To understand NBA DD Dawg, you first gotta understand Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
I'm really from New Orleans, man. Yeah, heaven, but I moved to BR when I was very young. That's
a place where your last name and your block can mean everything, and where kids learn to read the streets before they even learn to read a book. This is where Darian DD Dawg Bailey grew up in an environment charged with poverty, violence, and a code of loyalty that is often thicker than blood and deadlier than any bullet.
I can't really pinpoint that, but I just know I was, at a young age, was doing whatever,
His reputation came from the life he lived before the world even knew his name, before NBA YoungBoy became the face of an entire generation of street rap. While YoungBoy was recording on stolen equipment and uploading music to YouTube, DD Dawg was learning about survival in a place where tomorrow wasn't guaranteed.
Did you meet YoungBoy?
Hey, that ain't my friend, man. That's brother, nigga.
Okay.
While YoungBoy toured the world and stacked platinum plaques, DD Dawg spent his early years in and out of trouble, entangled in the kind of street situations that don't make it to the music videos. By the time DD Dawg's name hit mainstream headlines, those in Baton Rouge already knew who he was and what he was capable of. For DD Dawg, loyalty wasn't just a principle, it was his entire identity. It's what earned him the respect of the streets and the unwavering support of one of the biggest rap artists alive. The streets of Baton Rouge are filled with young men who never get a real chance to grow up. For NBA DD Dawg, that truth became his reality when he was still a teen, caught in a situation that would change the entire trajectory of his life forever. It was 2012 when everything went left. According to official reports, DD Dawg, his brother, and another associate entered the home of Derek Marino, a 21-year-old father and husband. The motive? Robbery. The result? Tragedy. In front of Marino's wife and young daughter, a confrontation escalated and shots were fired. Marino was taken out inside of his own home, turning a robbery into a homie scene and a teen into a suspect for a capital offense.
Tonight, the WBRZ investigative unit uncovered Bailey has a conviction tied to a 2012 Derek Marino was. His wife and daughter ran out of the home, barely escaping the gunshots.
From that moment, the system wasn't looking at Darian Bailey as a misguided youth. The courts in Louisiana don't often see kids, they see cases, bodies, and records that follow you for life. Ddawg was charged as an adult with second-degree homicide, facing the possibility of spending the rest of his life behind bars before he could even legally drive a car. For many, this is where the story would end. Another young black kid in Baton Rouge swallowed by a system that doesn't forgive and doesn't forget. But for Ddawg, it became the foundation of a reputation that will follow him for the rest of his life. As the years crawled by in a jail cell awaiting trial, his name became known in the whispers across the city. To some, he was a cautionary tale of how quickly the streets can take your freedom. To others, he was living proof of what the code demands. If you choose this life, you accept everything that comes with it.
So you say you jumped off the porch at a young age. When I was doing my research, I learned that you was going to jail at a young age. Around what time did you first start getting in trouble with the law?
Jail and all. Man, yeah.
In 2019, after nearly 7 years of being locked up fighting the case, Ddawg made a move that would give him a second shot at freedom, even if it came with a heavy price. He pleaded guilty to manslaughter, a lesser charge than the original homicide count, accepting a 10-year sentence. Given the time he had already served awaiting trial, Ddawg would end up doing around 8 years before being released on parole. 8 years. That's nearly a decade behind bars, growing from a teenager into a man in a system designed to break you. And for many, that would be enough to step away, to find another path, to leave the streets behind. But for Ddawg, the code remained the code. The environment he came from hadn't changed, and neither had his sense of loyalty to the streets that raised him into the brotherhood he shared with NBA YoungBoy. The time behind bars only seemed to solidify that commitment. Freedom didn't come with peace for NBA Ddawg. When he walked out of prison after nearly 8 years, Baton Rouge was the same, but Ddawg was different. Older, hardened, but still tied to the life he left behind. And the streets didn't give him a grace period to catch his breath. Fast forward to early 2002, September, when everything flared up again. Authorities arrested Ddawg for an attempted homicide tied to a 2018 shooting, a case that had been building quietly while he was serving time.
Manslaughter charge. Between his arrest in 2012 and now, he was also accused in an attempted from 2018.
The police alleged that Ddawg was involved in a situation as a result of a street beef. And now, even after nearly a decade in prison, he was back in the system fighting for his freedom once again. But here's where it gets even crazier. Unlike many who would have been stuck in the parish jail, Ddawg's circle made sure he was out. He posted a $300,000 bond, a heavy number that showed just how serious the system viewed him, but nothing compared to what would come next.
And was given a $300,000 bond by Judge Fred Crevassi. Days later, Bailey posted bond and was involved in a chase.
Once again, Ddawg was back in the streets of Baton Rouge, under the weight of pending charges, but moving like a man who had already accepted the risks. Just days later, on September 20th, 2022, police attempted to pull Ddawg over in Baton Rouge. The specifics of why they targeted him that day vary. Some say it was a traffic violation. Others believe the police were looking for him specifically because of his pending charges. But Ddawg had his own theory. According to him, he didn't even know they were police. He thought they were his ops because they were blasting music from the ops.
When they holler, a high-speed chase, died in the car,
Right.
my people died somebody and all this old shit. The police stalking me, behind me right now. Look what he bumping.
So naturally, if you getting followed, you gonna do what you can to get the hell up out of there. And it wasn't until later that he figured out they was the police. They chased him to the point where he had to crash. In the aftermath, well, you see it.
Vehicular.
I was sitting at that place. I heard the music. I heard the music from the jump. That's why I'm like, man, let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me get, but soon out, so I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get out of there, but.
What followed was a high-speed chase across the streets of Baton Rouge, with Ddawg weaving through traffic, pushing speeds that turned every block into a risk, every red light into a gamble. Witnesses reported seeing the chase tear through neighborhoods, sirens blaring, tires screeching, and the energy in the air heavy with inevitability. And then it happened. Ddawg crashed.
Michael, it has happened again. A suspected career criminal out on bond caught committing more crimes. Tonight, a passenger in his car is the driver with an extensive criminal history fled from police.
The impact was fatal for his passenger, who passed away on the scene. Ddawg survived but was left injured, bleeding, and quickly surrounded by law enforcement. This wasn't just a traffic violation anymore. This was a tragedy. And now, it was the case that would dominate headlines in Baton Rouge and beyond. The legal hammer came down hard. Vehicular harmony for the demise of his passenger, aggravated flight from an officer, felon in possession of a firearm, obstruction of justice, resisting arrest, plus a string of additional charges tied to the chase and the weapons found in the vehicle. The system had seen Ddawg as a risk before, but now they viewed him as a menace, someone whose freedom came at the cost of other safety. When the judge set bail, the courtroom and the internet went silent for a moment before the news exploded. NBA DD Dawg's bail was set at an astronomical $19.7 million. That's a number that ensures your next sunrise will be seen through a cell window. But with NBA DD Dawg, nothing is ever simple. The streets started buzzing and whispers spread that moves were being made behind the scenes. And somehow, despite the odds, Ddawg would post bail and walk out. Bruised, battered, but free again, at least for the moment. When NBA Ddawg posted that bail, it was like a glitch in the system.
So you say, how long you been home though, bro?
I've been home shit down in 2 years.
Okay.
But I don't really be with all that shit.
Yeah.
Really just be out the way, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Freedom didn't mean hiding in the shadows. It meant stepping back outside with the same energy he had always carried, despite the weight of the charges over his head. Ddawg didn't run from the spotlight. He walked into it, unbothered, carrying the demeanor of a man who had already accepted his fate, whether that meant going out in the streets or living out his days fighting cases until the system took him away for good. This interview is exactly what made his DJUTV interview hit different. If you've seen the clips floating around, you know what I'm talking about. No jewelry, no flashy flexing, no rehearsed rapper answers, just Ddawg in a hoodie, leaning forward, standing on business, even stepping to DJUTV when he overstepped his bounds. In that interview, Ddawg talked about the streets, loyalty, and how the environment he came from didn't offer many options if you wanted to survive. One of the viral moments came when DJU tried to steer the conversation and Ddawg cut him off with a deadpan stare, telling him directly, hold his flag, when he asked Ddawg if he felt like Chirac was a danger zone for him.
Y'all don't think, Chicago might be like a danger zone?
Man, dude, don't make me choose, Paul.
Clips from the interview flooded timelines with people debating whether Ddawg was a lost cause or a living legend, whether he was a product of a system designed to break him or a man who made his own choices and stood on them regardless of the consequences.
Your life?
Hey, man, hold this.
Hold your life?
Hold this flag. Hold this flag.
Fans of NBA YoungBoy pointed out how YB continued to support Ddawg, posting about him, referencing him, and making sure the world didn't forget the man who stood 10 toes down when it mattered most.
Thing, man, I've been trying to be on the right path. Hey, you me bad. Hey, like, you know where you at?
While many saw the DJUTV interview as content, for Ddawg, it was a chance to speak his truth without apology, to remind the world that he was still here, still standing, still breathing, even when the system and the streets tried to take him out. But freedom for Ddawg has always been a temporary thing, with serious charges still pending, the system breathing down his neck, and the weight of the streets on his shoulders. The clock is ticking. The DJUTV interview was more than a sit-down. It was a timestamp, a snapshot of a man in the eye of the storm, unbothered, yet fully aware of the reality that any day could be the day that everything changes. And that's why it's mad important to stay smart, stay alert, and stay real. I'm out, y'all.